Our Public Works Division is actually the second largest cost center in the county because it has a lot of work to do. In addition to doing our roads and bridges, they're the ones that go up and down our highways and byways and cut all the grass. Keep in mind that a significant share of Anderson County's budget goes to the operation of the Sheriff's Department. Now, we'll call it public safety because there are many facets that go under public safety. The sheriff obviously has his operating budget where he has officers that patrol all the different areas of the county. He has narcotic agents. He has bomb squads, he has detective, he has forensic laboratories. He has a wide variety of functions that he has to accomplish in order to keep you and me, our families, safe. In addition to that, the sheriff also is responsible for the 911 dispatch center. So the sheriff not only has his own patrolling operation, and he has the dispatch center. He has a group called Emergency Preparedness. Now, Emergency Preparedness is the group that springs into action if we have a natural disaster or a man-made disaster. So we have a skilled team in the Emergency Preparedness group, and I can also say we have the state-of-the-art control center that public officials go to when a disaster occurs, so that during the disaster we can maximize the utility to improve the quality of life and get our county back in order so that citizens can live in the atmosphere and environment that they want to. Anderson County is very fortunate to have a wonderful museum. There are many people that go to museums because they want to know their heritage. You know, our heritage, our roots are very important, and we should be proud of them. And I can tell you that the staff that we have out there are passionate about putting on good productions for citizens to be able to come, not only individually, but as church classes, as members of public school classes, and see the things that have taken place in the history of Anderson County over the years. In addition to the sports complex, where we have the ball fields and soccer fields, and the Kid Venture Park, which is now being renovated and having some new facilities placed in it. Anderson County actually has 36 parks and access points for citizens to be able to use scattered all over the county. Now, if you take a look, that's a tremendous burden for maintenance for Anderson County, since we have no monies or little monies allocated to improving our facilities. Other counties actually have on their tax bill a fee for recreation improvement. Some counties have what's called a hospitality tax. Now, keep in mind, I'm not promoting either one. I'm just mentioning how other places try to step up to the plate to make sure that the recreation facilities are kept up to date, enhanced, and meet the needs of the citizen. If there's no need for that, then obviously that is not one of our priority points. But we're fortunate to have access to not only Lake Hartwell, but we have one access called Mountain View Park, which is actually on our sister adjoining lake right below us. So we have a diversity of recreational facilities that range everywhere from boat landings to ballparks. Within the last several years, we've had the creation of Green Pond. Now, Green Pond has attracted national attention, especially from the anglers, the fishermen. We've had 3 or 4 bass tournaments out there. One of the smaller new additions is over on Brown Road, where we were able to put in an additional fishing ramp out there that families could go out, walk across the fishing ramp and fish from both sides, and that area is good for bass and brim. Recently, we had a Boy Scout project that wanted to put a picnic table. We placed another picnic table adjoining so that families could come out to the Brown Road Park and have a little picnic. In addition to that, we've expanded the parking lot to hold more cars and more boats, because we also expanded the boat ramp at the far end of the Brown Road landing. So we're trying to continue to promote recreation for various segments of our community. Keep in mind, all of the Brown Road one, almost all of it was paid with the PCB settlement money, which relieved Anderson County of any needs to spend taxpayers' money on that. So we're very fortunate to have these two new additions for our citizens to use. In addition to the educational needs of Tri-County Tech, Anderson County basically funds what's called the operation and maintenance of Tri-County Tech. This is about $2.5 million plus dollars. You actually have an independent millage on your tax bill that says Tri-County Tech. You say, well, what is operation and maintenance? That's actually the electricity, the water, the gas, the sewer fee, the maintenance of the buildings, and everything that it takes to maintain the facility. We have beautiful campuses. It's called Tri-County Tech because it supports Anderson, Pickens, and Oconee County. Anderson County pays 50% of the cost of that operation and maintenance costs. Pickens County pays 25% and Oconee County pays 25%. In the last 2 years, Tri-County Tech has approached us about their need to build a new $33 million student center and upgrade buildings that are way behind. At this time, they are asking for Anderson County to put up one half of that $33 million, and for Pickens and Oconee counties to pick up their 25% share. If that were to happen, there will be a tax increase, because there's no way that we can absorb that kind of money with the current budget that we have. But all of that money will be dedicated to Tri-County Tech. Now, the other two counties in the partnership have not yet signed off on building that building, so it may not come about. But I need to tell you that in the event that it does, you will see increase in the millage for Tri-County Tech. Keep in mind, Tri-County Tech is a vital part of the economic development of Anderson County. There are so many businesses that need people trained, and they're not available in the current environment we have. So Tri-County Tech steps in and creates programs to train the people that go in these various jobs. That's a big plus to the people of Anderson County. So the businesses that come in want new kinds of people with new job skills. And so Tri-County Tech is that organization that has stepped to the plate and meets that need. If you ride out where the Tri-County Tech building is in Anderson County, you'll see right across the street a building that Anderson County partnered with Tri-County Tech called the Quick Jobs Center. That building was built there so that Anderson County could have students go into that facility and be trained in a quick way to meet the needs of industries moving into Anderson County, such as First Quality, such as Michelin, such as McLaughlin, such as the BMW supplier that's going out in Alliance Park. Every year, the state legislature appropriates money called the Local Government Fund. The purpose of the Local Government Fund is to reimburse the county for the state mandated services that we have no control over. Well, that's wonderful. The problem is that the amount of money that the state allocates for us to fund these state mandated services is not enough for us to do a good job. Now, what are some good examples of these state mandated services? Well, we can almost start at the other end of Main Street, and we can see the first one. It's called the Ronnie Townsend Building. You've got the headquarters of the magistrates and the courts. Upstairs, you've got the Veterans Affairs Officer. Right next door is the Legislative Delegation Office. Coming on down the street, we actually got the Office of Registration, which we've located in rented space where the old Bank of America building was. Now you say, well, you mean registration in elections is not a part of funds that Anderson County supports? Nope. In fact, the person in charge of that is actually appointed by the delegation and is not an employee of Anderson County per se. Coming on down the street, if you go to the big courthouse, which we call the new courthouse, you've got the solicitor's office. Those people are not employees of Anderson County government, but employees of the state mandated services. Within that same building, you got the probate court. Another illustration is the master in equity. The third one is that we have the clerk of court's office and the court system. So you could say everybody in that building is an employee that does not report to Anderson County Council, but Anderson County Council must in some way meet the budgetary needs through the state mandated monies that come into the county and the monies that we have to find from our own budget. Now you'll recall earlier I stated the fact that the state legislature in the 2007-2008 period of time started reducing the amount of money that Anderson County should get from the state in order to fund these programs. As of this year, it would take an additional $3 million to really make that program self-sufficient. So we have actually, for the lack of a better word, lobbied the legislature and asking them in their wisdom, could they reinstate that money? Because not only is Anderson County in need of that money, but all of the 46 counties of South Carolina. So if you get a chance to see your county senator or house member, ask them to fully fund the local government fund. Because if we had that money, we would have an additional $3.4 million that, quite frankly, we could use to pave highways. Did you hear that? We need roads. And if we had that money, we could use that money to pave highways, instead of trying to figure out other options that would result in increased taxation to pave our highways. Other example of state mandated services are our treasurer's office. And so by being an elected official, we're required to fund that office out of Anderson County general funds. An additional group that we fund is the auditor's office. The auditor is the one who audits the books of the county to make sure between collecting money and appropriating money and setting the tax millage, that's the auditor's office. We give the auditor what our budget is, and the auditor's office calculates what the millage will be in order for us to fund our budget. We are making some improvements, but we're not able to have funds available to do the kind of things that we need. Anderson County is very fortunate to have a state-of-the-art animal shelter. Approximately 4 years ago, Anderson County floated a general obligation bond to construct that facility with the hopes that we could build a very efficient building that would lower the per animal cost of providing the service needed. Anderson County has a large number of cats and dogs that are brought to the animal shelter each year. Up until recently, Anderson County had to euthanize approximately 75% of all the animals that were brought there. Anderson County decided that it wanted to reduce that pool of animals that we had to euthanize by appropriating $75,000 to the Humane Society for their spay and neuter program. That program has been effective due to the fact just the other day the administrator told us that now we've only having euthanized 51% of the animals, which means that the amount of money we have to appropriate for animal shelter will decrease. Now, in addition to the animal shelter program, we have several other programs that are necessary to maintain the facilities of the county buildings here, there, and everywhere. But in order to maintain these buildings, we have to spend over $3 million a year to do things like housekeeping, painting, air conditioning bills, heating bills, lighting bills, telephone bills, and a wide variety of other maintenance that is required by the county. So you can see that's a significant amount of money, but it's necessary unless we allow the buildings to go down. Right now, we have just been faced with putting on a $600,000 roof on the museum. We're faced with putting a $1 million roof on the Civic Center. We are also challenged where to come up with the money to put a $1 million roof on the new courthouse. Now remember, that courthouse building houses state mandated people that we do not have adequate funds, and now we're being asked that we got to get $1 million somewhere to fund that roof. So all in all, maintenance is a way of life in this county. Now we've been able to do a few small things, but this is very limited amount of money that we spend. We even have an industry that wants to come to Anniston right now, and guess what? One of their requirements for even to be considered was for Anniston County to put up light posts out at exit 27 like we have up at exit 19. And in addition to that, to beautify and landscape it similar to some of the exits down in Columbia, South Carolina and Charleston, because they want to have a world-class headquarters building potentially here. Now, that's a first. We've never been asked to do anything like that, but this would be a significant company that would have a corporate headquarters with a worldwide presence and would employ over 200 people, most of them with an average salary of $55,000 a year. So I can tell you, we're going to do everything we can in our power to do that, but it requires money to do infrastructure and economic development. And that is why when you look at your tax bill, these costs do not appear under county property taxes, but you actually have a millage that is devoted to economic development and millage that is devoted to infrastructure.